17,000 subscribers divided by 17,000 subscribers divided by 57 million followers. Do you know what percentage went? Do you guys really want to know? 0.003% went to want to subscribe to our channel. Did you understand what number I just said right now? To say they've lost their influence and their sizzle of what the Obamas used to be would be an under...
Beneath the polished speeches, best-selling memoirs, and Hollywood deals lies a persona crafted more for image than for impact. Patrick Bet-David rips apart Michelle Obama's carefully engineered brand, exposing how celebrity status and influence were mistaken for real leadership. What seems like history in the making is actually the recycling of a political dynasty perfected for the spotlight. Bet-David makes it clear, Michelle's so-called legacy isn't about transformation, it's marketing masquerading as meaning.
This is her talking about how expensive it was to live in the White House. Go for it.
It's expensive to live in the White House.
Yeah.
As many people don't know. I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane. It is an expensive proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning.
Michelle Obama has cultivated the role of America's most beloved former First Lady. But Patrick Bet-David isn't fooled. He dissects the facade, revealing contradictions, staged authenticity, and endless self-promotion that turned her into a business model built on victimhood and celebrity. Michelle wasn't just a First Lady, she was a marketing campaign in motion. And Patrick dismantles the myth with surgical...
2007. What was Obama in 2007? 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Okay, so their net worth is, let's write this down. This is pre-White House. Their collective net worth was 1.3 million. Can you go to where their net worth was in 2016 when they're done being presidents? Okay, 2016. So their net worth, as expensive as it was, they went from being 1.3 million.
Continue. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more. Michelle Obama's climb to cultural superstardom wasn't based on achievements. It was branding. She never earned votes, never held office, never carried the people's mandate. She married into power at the perfect moment, then parades her opinions as if they're prophetic. Patrick Bet-David skewers the absurdity. Michelle is the only First Lady who turned herself into a global franchise. Spotify deals, best-selling books, massive tours, while preaching about struggle from behind private jets and gated mansions.
Other people, you're sitting there, and then you see panel. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You can say whatever you want about The View. Guess what everybody talks about every week? The View. Why? Because here's what she said, here's what he said, here's what she said.
Right, yeah.
So they're bringing, even though you can't stand what they stand for, they bring, what do you call it, Tulsi on. They'll bring and have the fight with Stephen A. They'll bring and put the people on there, Junior and all these guys, and have the conversations with them. Of course, you don't agree with it. Michelle is doing a podcast from the standpoint of you guys.
Michelle's image as the relatable every woman is one of modern politics' greatest illusions. She plays the role of the grounded mom who shops at Target and eats at Chipotle. But decades of privilege, luxury, and influence tell another story. Patrick Bet-David calls out the hypocrisy. Michelle preaches sacrifice while pocketing sums that dwarf an average family's lifetime earnings for a single hour on stage. That isn't relatability. It's staged performance for audiences desperate to believe in her sincerity.
2025. What is the net worth
It's got to
today?
be worth a couple $100 million. No?
It's two numbers. You see
There's
70
70.
million to 250 million dollars. So 70 million to 250 million dollars. If you type in a couple other places, you'll see 100 million, you'll see 70 million, or you'll see a couple ranges. But let's just stick to the 70 million dollars. Pre-presidency, 1.7. So expensive being at the White House. It was so expensive that our net worth went from 1.3 million to 12.2 million 8 years.
Its core, Michelle's brand is victimhood dressed up as empowerment. Every speech leans on hardships, doubt, and struggle. Patrick Bet-David points out the comedy in this narrative. This is a Princeton and Harvard graduate, a former First Lady, wife of a president, and current multimillionaire. Yet she insists she's still fighting unseen forces. Patrick dismantles the illusion, exposing it for what it really is. The ultimate hustle. A billionaire's victim story packaged as inspiration.
What I think she's trying to do. And again, pure speculation, folks. I may be fully wrong here. I think she's taking a page out of Jada Pinkett's playbook. Because I think they're getting ready to announce that something's going on in the marriage. And I think this is their way of doing it in a very subtle way. Because if you're taking shots at him slowly, you're taking shots, they're going in games in different ways. I'm not sure if there's been an entanglement or not, but I think there may be a possibility of a news coming here soon that could actually get her podcast to blow up. And you know what could get her podcast to blow up? If she announces.
Michelle has always claimed to hate politics, yet never steps away from it. She insists on wanting privacy, yet resurfaces every election cycle to lecture Americans on morality and urgency. Patrick Bet-David highlights her perfected balancing act, posing as above politics while still shaping it. Her speeches drip less with inspiration and more with condescension, delivered like a school principal scolding students. But ordinary Americans don't want life lessons from someone whose idea of hardship is adjusting to a $12 million post-White House estate.
14 million copies of her book, 725 on day one. 8 million US, 14 million worldwide. Sometimes you got to watch your own content from back in the days and see what happened. Now, don't get me wrong. If there is a divorce going on, if there is a challenge going on in marriage, if there is something like that and you're going through it, look, it's an issue.
Patrick digs into Michelle's branding as the ultimate women's champion. But her platform exists entirely because of her husband's presidency. Despite this, she lectures women on independence as if she built her empire alone. The contradiction is staggering. Her documentaries, production deals, and podcasts are sold as noble causes, but Patrick mocks them as vanity projects and revenue streams. It's capitalism cloaked in activism, and the audience eats it up, paying to be lectured by someone who hasn't lived their reality for decades.
The honest admission about the state of his marriage to Michelle. Okay? So here we go. Barack Obama, shocking admission about the state of his marriage to Michelle. Go a little bit low, Rob, if you could. So everybody's wondering, like, you weren't there at Jimmy Carter funeral, you weren't there at Trump, and Michelle I'm talking about, and then you start a podcast with your brother. Barack Obama made shocking admission on Michelle Obama marriage. I was in deep deficit with my wife. He told Tepper in a conversation Thursday. So I've been trying to dig myself out of that hole by doing occasional.
Then comes the endless chatter about her running for president. Michelle insists she isn't interested, yet never shuts the door completely. Patrick Bet-David calls out the act. Deny interest to look humble while stoking speculation for maximum influence. Michelle thrives on whispers of being the Democratic Party's savior. If she truly had no intention, she'd say so outright. But she won't, because the speculation keeps her relevant. Worse, she hides behind identity politics, deflecting any criticism as sexism or prejudice. Patrick refuses to play that game, exposing how Michelle manipulates emotions to silence.
Trump's accusation of treason, outrageous. Let me read this to you, and Thomas Ellsworth. I'm coming to you first, so please be prepared with all your notes.
Ready.
Obama's office spokesperson, Patrick Rodenbush, great first name, rejected the office of the Director of National Intelligence. Reports claim that senior Obama administration officials orchestrated the Russia collusion hoax, stating, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. And he called the allegations outrageous and ridiculous, a weak attempt of distraction.
Patrick Bet-David strips away the gloss and reveals Michelle Obama for what she is. A brand, a symbol, a product. Her legacy isn't about policies or reforms. It's about selling herself as a cultural phenomenon. She mastered the art of spinning privilege into struggle, victimhood into marketing, and condescension into inspiration. But behind the polished speeches is the truth. She's less a leader than a celebrity cashing in on politics without accountability. While Donald Trump commands the White House, Michelle lingers on the sidelines, clinging to relevance under the guise of humility. Her story isn't about progress. It's about building a billion-dollar empire out of victims.
Why is Obama silent? Ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
He's above this.
Or maybe he's deep in it. Maybe he's not above it, he's deep in it. And so he sends a spokesperson, Patrick Rodenbush, which is what Obama doesn't do. He's never Rodenbush, is got an issue here. Now he goes, the office of the presidency and the office. So they're speaking in third person. Whenever you have people in Washington that are cornered, they speak.
Bet David doesn't just expose Michelle's false image. He shows what her relevance reveals about politics itself. The fact that someone who never held office, never passed a law, and never debated policy is still seen as a presidential contender proves America is addicted to celebrity over substance. Michelle is influencer politics at its peak, marketed as humble while living in mansions, celebrated as relatable while sipping wine in Martha's Vineyard. Her authenticity is nothing but an act designed to tug at voters' emotion.
The Dems did flip in August, and they put a Newsom Michelle combination. Do you know what mainstream media would do with that? CNN, what Jimmy Fallon, Colbert, all these podcasts, Oprah Winfrey, the NBA, LeBron, do you know what Taylor Swift, do you know what these guys would be doing? It would be bonkers. By the way, if it is Michelle and Newsom.
Michelle Obama's influence isn't built on ideas but on nostalgia. The Obama years are remembered by fans as historic and glamorous, while the reality was stagnant wages, endless wars, and racial division. Michelle serves as the glossy filter hiding the ugly truth. Patrick Bet David points out her real power, marketing hope while others did the work. Worse, her lingering influence reveals the Democratic Party's desperation. Floating Michelle's name as a possible candidate isn't a sign of vision. It's proof they have no fresh ideas, no new leaders, only recycled.
Term, he did none. Obama's first term, I think he did one, and Bush's first and second term, he did none on day one. This guy's come out the gates. One moment he's talking to World Economic Forum. Another second you're looking at him, he's talking to California, chewing out, Bass and Mayor Bass and talking to the folks there. Next minute he's in Vegas talking about no tax on tips. Next minute you're seeing him talking to military folks. Next minute you're seeing him on the media.
Patrick's takedown sting is how obvious Michelle's contradictions are. She claims to reject politics yet stays politically active. She says she hates the spotlight yet never leaves it. She paints herself as an outsider while being one of the most privileged insiders alive. Her career post-White House is monetized fame disguised as reluctance. Patrick cuts through the illusion. Inspiration without substance is empty. Michelle sells slogans, not solutions. Leaders leave change. Michelle leaves ticket sales, streaming deals, and memoirs.
Michelle Obama starting a podcast. And I kind of want to go through this, Michelle Obama's podcast. And her and her brother, they started a podcast. They look like twins. If you want to... I'm actually not being sarcastic.
Yeah, well, if she
Rob, what is this, Rob?
Where's her
This
brother?
is the announcement of the podcast.
Okay, play the clip. Maybe this will help out a little bit with subscribership. Go ahead and play the clip.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new
have so many opinions
podcast
about
called
Bet David delivers his final blow by framing Michelle Obama as the perfect product of broken politics, where image trumps achievement and performance replaces leadership. Michelle isn't a stateswoman. She's a lifestyle brand. Not a leader but a curated fantasy. By the end, Patrick dismantles the illusion of her untouchability. What remains is not a trailblazer, but a carefully packaged figure who thrived on applause without achievement, influence without accountability. Patrick's roast ensures that Michelle Obama isn't remembered as a savior of politics, but as the polished face of a dynasty built on illusion.